You think I don't know, but baby I've got eyes and I can see that some other girl is making you look twice at me.
So I was beginning to get a bit worried that the quality of my diction and enunciation on the last 4 episodes wasn't matching the quality of the production from Into Creative. So I thought I'd start another plan for episode 5. And therefore I haven't tanned half a bottle of wine before recording these episodes for this one. So with a bit of luck, that'll make a difference. You'll hear me a bit more clearly, and I apologise if my previous lack of sobriety has spoiled your viewing and listening pleasure. This is episode 5 of The Last Days of Disco. I'm reading the whole book. We're currently at page 45 if you're following along with the distance learning guides that have been provided free from the internet. So just a quick recap on what's been happening so far. 2 main characters, Bobby Cassidy and Joey Miller, have started tentatively a mobile DJ enterprise. They don't have any equipment. They don't have any gear, they don't really have that many records, but they've got a bit of a dream, and that's enough. On the other side of Kilmarnock, where the tale is set, Fat Franny Duncan, local gangster, who already runs a mobile DJ empire and entertainment roster, is also competing for the same business. But we'll get to him a bit more in the future. This is chapter 3, episode 5. Laurel and Hardy meet the hairy guy. 9th of February 1982, 11:57 a.m. You know the only downside to spending time in here? Listening to this shite every day. Joey stretched his legs out until his body lay flat across 3 of the softer 6-tier common room seats. Get up and switch it off then, said Bobby. These stories must all be made up. That fucking depressing theme, a tragic story. We fell in love and then I had to have my leg cut off and then we were separated by a raging storm and never saw each other again. What a load of fucking horse manure. And then you find out that their tune is fucking Lady in Red. Even lying down, Joey was capable of a level of animated exasperation that Bobby found impressive. When Heatwave gets going, there'll be none of this middle of the road pish getting played. That's got to be rule number 1. Joey folded his arms. Bobby laughed. Since Joey had embraced the dream and put the spectre of Fat Franny Duncan to the back of his mind, there had been around 23 rule number 1s. Right, got it, said Bobby. Nae Chris de Burgh, nae Goombay dance band, nae flocks of fucking seagulls. Bobby sighed. He feigned irritation, but he secretly loved these exchanges with his best friend. Did your man Jeff say the biker guy would be up there all afternoon? Maybe I should go to economics today. Bobby looked at the monochrome clock above the double doors into the common room. It recorded the time as 10:32 p.m, just as it had for every minute of the last 36 days. What time is it? I don't know why my dad can't get that bloody thing fixed. Neither of them wore a watch and therefore relied on the numerous clocks which were located at department boundaries all around James Hamilton Academy. Don't know, 11:30 maybe, said Joey, eyes now closed and given the impression that only an earthquake with a northeast Kilmarnock postcode as its epicentre would move him. Right, I'm going to fucking Old Fowler's class at 10 to 12 and then we'll fuck off up to the farm at dinner time, eh? Bobby didn't really want to go and listen to Kondratiev's cyclical theories of economic expansion, stagnation and recession, although he broadly understood it and could appreciate why an economist might find it important. It said nothing to him about his own current interest, the black economy. Bobby actually quite liked school, or rather the freedom its flexible six-year structure afforded him. He had to be careful though. Having a parent working in the same building wasn't ideal, but he had accumulated a decent level of O-grades and hires in the previous 2 years. And as with Joey, this allowed him the comparative freedom of coasting through his final year on the assumption that he would progress on to university. For this to happen though, Bobby needed a pass in the subject that had become his tormentor. Joey had no intention of going to university. His dad worked for British Rail in Glasgow and felt that it was a man's duty to leave school as soon as possible and earn in order to help pay his keep at home. Joey's dad left school at 14 and proudly belonged to an era that considered that to be more than enough education for the essential tasks in life. Enough reading to be able to laugh along to John Junior's rancid bullying, angry from Auchtermuchty columns about poofters. Enough writing to be able to fill in the betting slips at the bookies, and enough arithmetic to instantaneously add up the exact accumulator payouts. Some, but not all of that ethos had rubbed off on his son. Joey was actually asleep by the time Hamish May came into the common room at 12:25. Hamish came in with two others, and on seeing Joey, quickly put a forefinger to his mouth. The shushing was to remove background noise, to allow him to deliver his trademark farting in someone's face routine. Hamish May's farts were the stuff of legend. It wasn't clear exactly what his daily diet was, but when he recently ate 2 tins of cat food to win a £1 bet in this very common room, it was apparent to all present that there wasn't much at which Hamish turned up his nose. In fact, the environment still stank of that very event because one girl who hadn't been party to what was going on caught sight of the big man polishing off the cat food and promptly brought up a few meaty chunks of her own. "Shouldn't he be sleeping at school anyway?" reasoned Hamish, in justification of a punishment dealt out to a wayward pupil by a prefect. Yes, Hamish May was a 6-year prefect. And more incredibly, given his involvement in a number of Bobby Cassidy's money-making schemes, he was deputy head boy. "Fuck off, you!" gasped Joey, once he'd finally stopped gagging. "Help me open all the windows. Jesus Christ, mate, what the fuck have you been eating?" At the break earlier, I had 14 boiled eggs. I won £3 behind the gym block. Bobby Kerr said that bit in Paul Newman film couldn't be done, said Hamish proudly. And he'd been right as well. Paul Newman ate about 50, said Joey. Bobby Kerr's a prick though. Made that bet without having seen the film. He thought it was 15, no 50. And when he wasn't looking, I dropped one into my bag. "Just like the one you dropped in here," said Joey. That was a fucking belter, eh? The two others who had come in with Hamish laughed their approval. "So what are you up to then?" said Hamish. He sat down next to Joey and pulled out a 10-pack of Embassy Regal, from which 2 were already absent. He turned the pack upside down and 2 sticks fell into his palm. Hamish put both in his mouth and lit them before handing one to Joey. Joey didn't smoke much, but he rarely refused a cigarette when offered. "Me and Bob are heading out to a farm near Hurlford. He's got this plan to start up a mobile disco, and old Harry's gied him some cash to buy lights and stuff." Joey drew deeply on the cigarette, anticipating a barrage of questions about this new information. There was none though. Hamish blew smoke rings, a skill Joey had never mastered, and then stood up briskly. "Fair enough," he said. "Two you buggering off for the day then?" Aye, I'm not coming back here later," said Joey. "I'll turn a blind eye then," said Hamish, pointing to the yellow badge on his dark blue blazer. "I'll see you later, I've got dinner duty, I need to go." "Aye, Hammy, I'll see you." Joey felt he got off lightly from this encounter. He felt sure Hamish would have been wondering what his place in Bobby's plans might have been. Joey was also fairly certain that Hamish would have been a wee bit hurt that he hadn't been included, although Hamish had always understood the almost telepathic synergy between Joey and Bobby. He did feel that the three of them were pretty close, but he was always a bit of a maverick, and his status within the school was only one of a number of complex contradictions in his life. Hamish's mum was a cleaner who worked part-time for some of the large house owners down the expensive end of London Road. His dad was employed within the United Kingdom's impregnable diploma service and spent much of his time overseas in exotic places like Tangier, Marrakesh and Tripoli. It was always a bit of an event when Hamish's dad was back in town, and both Bobby and Joey had a great liking for Stan May. His eccentricity and the bizarre stories he told about these strange places was exhilarating. It was easy to see where Hamish got his independent spirit. For a working class Ayrshire family, the May children had unique and unusual names. As well as Hamish, there was Dolly, Glendale, Winston, Elliot, Donovan, Aretha and Tess. Bobby and Joey both loved retelling the story of the time Hamish's dad came home after 6 months away in 1978. Hamish had made it known to everyone who listened that his dad had made a fantastic deal in getting a new car, and he'd been driving it back up from Portsmouth. Stan had been decidedly vague about the make, but Hamish reckoned it must have been one of the new MK3 Capris. A highly impractical selection, as there were 11 members of the immediate May family, including a live-in granny. Eventually, during one long afternoon in early June 1978, Stan May drove up to 46 Ellis Avenue in a newish but highly distinctive vehicle to be greeted by around 30 people who had been waiting in the front garden for almost an hour. No one was sure what type of car it actually was, but a next-door neighbour asked if Stan had bought it from the Ant Hill mob, drawing a collective as if to say that's where I'd seen it before. It was an El Camino station wagon of sorts, and it was certainly distinctive. The car looked like it should have been taking a barefoot 14-year-old Ohio bride and her toothless cousin to the place where their union would be confirmed. Bobby nudged Joey. Jesus fuck, Joey, look at the state of that motor. The wooden panelled side door opened and Hamish's dad slid out with a triumphant look on his face. Never mind the motor, get a swatch of they threads. I wouldn't get cremated in that, smirked Joey. Stan looked as striking as the car, with a beige zoot suit and a massive brown kipper tie complementing the vehicle's earthy colour palette. The entire May family and one of their dogs fit easily into the 3 rows of seats, and with the windows rolled down to allow mass waving, they set off up the hill. Predictably, they didn't get far, unknown to its passengers. The car's journey from the south of England had been a largely subservient one, having been towed for more than half of its route. Perhaps 30 yards, and a bang from the exhaust signalled the end of the adventure. And happy smiling faces turned first to concern and then to dismay as the car's large antiquated wheels rolled backwards. Joey smiled yet again at the memory of that afternoon as he walked the short distance down Ellis Avenue towards Bobby's house at Almond Avenue. From there, they'd walk to the bus station for the journey to their destiny. Thank you, good night, sleep well, see you tomorrow.